There you go.
Here, let me take my binder for you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, the elk were sleeping in this morning. They usually do. I see them when I leave to go home more often than not. So, I just want to let you know, I actually do a lot of research for my Sunday messages. And as I was doing the research for this one, focusing on the power of the mind, it occurred to me that my mind is like my web browser. 19 tabs open, 5 are frozen, and I have no idea where the music's coming from. Does anybody have any kind of relationship with their computer that way? I am not a techie. Well, our theme this morning is imagination. And, I've heard lots of talk about what is real. What is our imagination and what is real? For instance, is the time that we are awake our true reality? Or is the time that we are sleeping and dreaming our true reality? Just as like our little story today was inviting us to think about. After all, haven't we all had dreams that seem so real? Dreams that have given us answers to our questions, dreams that, have people and places in them that we know, we're familiar with. Or sometimes, the dreams that kind of help us understand, who we are and what life's about. And we love them, we're in there, and we just really, in fact, when you wake up, you say, oh shoot, I don't want to wake up, right? But sometimes when we're not asleep, do we not have dreams? I mean, you're still awake, and you know that there's something going. It's like you've entered into another dimension, and you're daydreaming. And we can slip into that, many times during the day, and I'm sure all of you've done that before. It's kind of nice, isn't it, that daydreaming? Well, it can be very confusing. So what is real and what is imagination? Well, I want to share a story with you right now that is going to confuse you even more. Okay? The story is entitled, That's Not My Job. This is a story about 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Now, everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. I don't know about you, but every time I read that story, I think of government. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yes, so imagination is one of Unity's 12 powers. And in Unity, the 12 powers are those divine ideas and traits that we as humans, if we develop them to their fullest, we have actually realized our who we are, and we understand that. And therefore we can express that knowing out into the world. And so this is the major theme of most of Unity's teachings. So let's just look deeper into imagination, which is one of the 12 powers, as I said. Imagination has its center directly between the eyes, or the third chakra. The third eye chakra witnesses that internal screen that we have. And that's where memories and fantasies and images and archetypes, intuition, all of that we can see in our mind. from this, we create meaning and consciousness to our everyday life. So, imagination is the ability to image, picture, conceptualize, envision, and dream. Now, we can then apply these ideas into our physical lives to enhance our creativity. Of course, our imagination can be filled with life-enhancing thoughts and images, or it can be filled with fearful thoughts and images. And those may come out in our dream world as nightmares. And whatever thoughts you're imagining, that is most likely what you're going to experience in your life. So it's very important to pay attention to those images that you may be experiencing. Imagination is meant to create. And it is only through imagination that we can create. The creative process is one of the most complex and beautiful parts of being human. It's messy, it's frustrating, it's enjoyable, and it's different for everyone. Being creative helps us understand ourselves in the world. It's a natural part of human expression that deserves to be valued and cultivated. I call it the beautiful dance of the mind, the hands, and the heart. Creativity, by its definition, is the use of imagination and these original ideas. And creativity is a phenomenon whereby something new and valuable is formed. Now, the truth is, we're all creative. I've never really thought of myself as creative because when I think about creativity, I think about the arts and those kind of things, writing books and all of that. But we are all creative. And I think the truth is that with us all being creative, that we are expressing one of the supreme ideas of existence. Creation is not something that Spirit does or did. It is what Spirit is, and it is what we are. You are no less creative than the Spirit itself. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "There's one mind common to all individual minds." So you will draw out of the divine mind whatever is necessary for your individualized expression of creativity. Just like the butterfly, as Jack Kornfield describes. He says, in the caterpillar's chrysalis, there are cells called imaginal cells that hold the image of the butterfly that will emerge. The original cells struggle, trying to stay like the old caterpillar, but eventually the imaginal cells begin to build the wings of the butterfly. So from the one mind comes our individual expressions through our imagination. Now, Unity describes the creative process as mind, idea, expression. Now, every one of us does this constantly, but mostly do it unconsciously. So the trick is to create consciously. Now, mind is consciousness, or that awareness. It is the all that is, was, and ever will be. In fact, spiritual teachers that I follow say that everything already exists. It's like a quantum soup. And that creation is taking combinations of all of this that is available and creating new ideas and expressions from that, putting them together in a different way. Now, idea from the divine mind or quantum soup comes creative ideas or creative thoughts. Now, these are the desires of the mind. We all have them. And what is it that sparks these creative thoughts? Imagination. How could you have a creative thought if you didn't imagine it first? So it is the spark that ignites and moves creation, much like the spark plugs in an engine. I know, we used to have an old van, And I used to change those spark plugs. You know, I'd either put in new ones or I'd adjust that gap, you know, in there. But I had to do that for the van to start. And it would not start without those spark plugs. Imagination is the vital element in creation. And the last expression. That is, of course, the manifestation or realization of that which we imagined. This is where you make plans toward that manifestation. Okay? You have imagined writing a book on your special thought or your special subject. So now you begin. You make, you know, to make it real to your research, you know, your investigation, your drafting, your editing, and before you know it, the book is written. And through all of those steps, every one of them, as you go along, you are using the gift of imagination to bring it alive. You are imagining that the book cover, what it would look like, what color it will be, the print that you will use, imagining finding the perfect publisher. Before you know it, you have manifested a physical book that began from what? Your imagination. Now, this is a simple description of an amazing, complex, and beautiful process. In fact, we are such amazing creators that we have created every aspect of our lives, all based on the use of this imagination. And it's easy to blame others for our lives, but alas, we are the creators. Yes, and we will always be the creators of every moment of our existence. So, for you see, creativity expands beyond the arts, as I have said, into all forms to include experience. Take a moment to look at your life and how it has evolved. Bruce Lipton, cell biologist, writer, and lecturer, says that sometime around 7 years of age, you realized you were indeed an individual and that you had your own thoughts and that you wanted to create your own life. Before that awakening, you absorbed everyone else's thoughts as your own because you were too young to know the difference. And unfortunately, some of the adults continue to do that. Your life was based on someone else's imagination, life enhancing or not. However, that awakening was the beginning of your creative journey and the adventures that lay ahead for you. Now, I have a 3-year-old grandniece. She's already figured that out. She already knows she's an individual, and she also has figured out how to tell you that. Yeah. So I'm sure there's exceptions to this theory that happens around 7. In fact, you know, I believe that there are many old souls coming back into manifestation, into the physical, just to help us through this trying time that we're going through. And I've seen some other children that you can, you know, you can see it in their eyes, you can see it in their amazing understanding of life. So they're here to help us. But just think about this. If creation is unlimited, then there are answers to all of our problems that we are experiencing in this world. Greg Braden, scientist and spiritual teacher, says that we already have all the solutions, all the technological solutions to the biggest problems that we face as individuals, communities, and nations. We still have the opportunity to create a healthy future by defining the values that we cherish before we implement solutions that cause irreversible harm to us and our planet. So we have already developed ways to grow healthy food in abundance. We have already created ways to create clean energy. We have already created technology to help us instead of destroying us. When we decide that these answers are more important than that bottom line, and we focus on our well-being, we will flourish. And every person will be a part of this abundance and this progress. And we will be unstoppable creators. So that imagination is already working. It's out there. And as soon as we get people to really listen, who have, the power to put these things into existence, we can do that. Matt Kahn, who is also a spiritual teacher that I follow, said that the only enemy to evolutionary progress is the existence of personal agenda. Without agenda, there are merely choices to be made that further peace, progress, distribution, and opportunity for the greatest good of all. This is the heart of unity. So, despite what we are looking at out there in that world, it can look scary, I know. The creativity of humanity has already been at work. Because innately, all of us are beings of integrity and wisdom and love. And it is coming out. Because a lot of people are really wanting that now, instead of some of the things that we've gone through, we're going through, and they anticipate going through. Now, we can use this power of imagination to create and to hold on to solutions and ways of helping our world. In other words, use the power of our emotions to imagine and visualize what we desire for ourselves and our world. Those thoughts and ideas will move the expressions that the more you are sure of what you desire. So in other words, the universe cannot give you what it doesn't know you want, because you don't know what you want. You get the thing. I mean, how can it give us what we want when we don't know what we want? So we use our emotions and senses to hold on to those desires. In other words, we have a desire, we feel the outcome, we taste the outcome, we smell the outcome, and we see the outcome in our mind. And when you know what you want, without question, the universe rejoices, because now it has something solid that it knows it can help you with. And it will fulfill those desires. There's something very important here, though. You need this focus and this combination of thought, emotion, and feeling without any doubt or fear for your ideas to manifest. It's kind of like you have a desire. The very moment that you have this desire, Source becomes it. The very moment that you have it. And this Source waits for you to bring your vibration up to its vibration. Instant manifestation. That's how it works. What happens is we have Source up here with your expression waiting, just waiting to bring it into manifestation. And you're down here and you have made this wonderful, you have imagined and made this wonderful, creation. And between that, your vibration here and this vibration up here, what has entered in? Doubt. All those things you say, oh, I can't do that, I don't have enough money, I'm too old. Who's going to read my book anyway? And the fears, okay, just the fear, well, maybe the world doesn't like what I have to say. I mean, why am I putting myself out there, to just be, criticized? All of those things come in there between your vibration and Source's vibration. So what is our work to do? We know, don't we? We need to get rid of those doubts. We need to hold on to that imagined expression with all of your heart, your feeling, and you look at it as if it is already manifested. And then guess what? you move your vibration up, and you match it with source, and voila, there it is. That's the law. It's the law, so it has to happen that way. So your vibration between your creation and that manifestation of it really depends on fear and doubt, and whether you can just release those things and let them go. They're not real anyway. There's just something that your ego has created to get in the way. Okay, so don't allow that to happen. Every person in this world is a divine creator, has the power, and as soon as you acknowledge that within yourself, it happens. It happens. Eckhart Tolle said, the moment you start watching your thoughts, a higher level of consciousness becomes activated. This is because when you start being fully aware of your thoughts and how they have out-pictured in your life and in the lives of others, you may realize that you want to change them. So it's this awareness that helps you decide. And then you can look at it and say, well, you know what? I want more life-enhancing pictures in my mind. So it's a wake-up call, kind of. So start, I've said this probably many times to you. I know I've said it to others many times, but really be aware of what you're thinking and you're doing and you're saying. Really be aware of that. So who makes your daily decisions about your life? Okay. Does someone tell you to wake up, get up, wear certain clothes, fix your breakfast, go to work, fix dinner, go see a friend, watch TV, write a letter, take it along back? No, you make those decisions, don't you? That's imagination and creation. Does someone tell you to go to college, what job to take, what city to live in, where to go on vacation? No. Although granted, you may be making some of those decisions within the family unit. However, you decide your life, and this is creativity. Every thought is followed by either the dismissal of the thought or your action to follow through on that thought, because that's when you start putting that heartfelt energy into it. Now, most people do not understand how they create. They don't understand that they're creating every day, because they look at creativity as something big up there, like a book, or something like that. But it's in action every moment, in everything that you do. And just deciding to get up is a really good, big thing, isn't it? So don't think that you're not creating. Because it's very important to many people that you get up, right? Not only to you, but a lot of other people. So when we think of creativity this way, doesn't it make sense to wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what will I create today? What can I imagine this day will be like? I like doing that. And then I set out all the adventures I'm going to have for the day. And life is an adventure, every day is an adventure. And when you look at life as creative adventure, you will have power, the power to express yourself in any way that you choose. William Watson Perky said, dance like nobody's watching, love like you've never been hurt, sing like nobody's listening, live like it's heaven on earth, and work like you don't need the money. And if you could do this, your life would change, wouldn't it? Yeah. We put so much importance on following the rules instead of just living life. There's a hidden genius in each person, which each of us gives expression to through our commitment and our discipline and the enthusiasm that works with passion. There's a story told of Paderewski, who had just completed a command performance before some of the crowned heads of Europe. A lady came up to him saying, "Maestro, you are a genius." To which he tartly replied, "Ah, yes, that before I was a genius, I was a clod. In other words, there's a personal effort required to keep the fire of faith and enthusiasm alive within the mind, and also to make the voice and the hands suitable channels to make that creative expression come forth. Yeah, so dream big, dream big, and know that you can achieve those dreams. So our imagination is really at work all the time. Don't dismiss your dreams. They may have some really wonderful messages for you. I know mine do. And so go within and feel who you are. What is your passion? Do you ask yourself that? What is my passion? No? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Do you ever think about it? But just think about all the world, how the whole world would be like if all of us expressed our passion. Because passion is always about, loving expression. In the book Recreating Earth, it reads, humanity is continually evolving and revolutionizing itself. You are entering a new ingenuity revolution. This new turn will make an impact the size of your industrial revolution, yet without any negative impact. So your greatest collective genius is your ability to create what you imagine. Now, I have shared these words with you, I know before, because I think they're very powerful words from Wayne Dyer. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. So, I don't know how you look at your life, but think about that. How am I looking at my life? As an adventure, as a chore, a rut. How are you looking at your life? And if you're dissatisfied, try changing the way you look at your life. I remember Marshall Rosenberg does the nonviolent communication. He said one time, they had a baby, and the baby would cry at night, and they'd take turns getting up, and he was saying, oh, it's my turn to get up. And then he thought, wait a minute, here I am, okay, I'm gonna lose a little bit of sleep, but what am I doing? I'm looking after this beautiful creation that I helped make, that I love dearly, who needs, a bottle or something, or needs to be changed. So he started looking at it differently, and it changed his whole experience in that baby growing up, during that time period. So that's what I'm talking about. Look at things differently. And attach to that appreciation and gratitude. Because, we are very blessed, and sometimes we take those blessings and forget about it. So I want to encourage you to really develop that imagination. I want to encourage you to use that imagination to create what you want, and to let go of all of those things that you let get in the way of its manifestation. We can do that. We can do that. We can just let go of all of that and say, you know what? I'm moving forward now in love, in creativity, and this is what I'm going to do with my life from now on. So why don't we take a few moments of meditation, if that's all right. So let's just close our eyes and take a deep breath. So I invite you to get comfortable in your chair. Just let it hold your body, relax. Breathe deeply for just a moment or two, and imagine you are breathing in and out from your heart. We're being asked to create a new earth. We're being asked to bring forth creative ideas from a source of love and connection to create a caring and compassionate humanitarianism. We are being asked to find the ways to care for each being, human and non-human, that calls Earth its home. We have all of this within us. We cannot separate ourselves. So let's take just a few moments in the silence and ask your heart to reveal these creative ideas that are already within you, that can help create a new earth. Earth is our home. All humans are brothers and sisters. All other beings provide the basis for our existence. We are so intertwined that all of life is necessary for even one person's existence. The all that is cannot exist without you. That's how important you are. And that's why your love and your creative ideas can help the world. So let's breathe that in. And celebrate how special you are. So take one more deep breath and we'll come back. There'll be a class today. We're going to continue with Adyashanti's teachings from his book, Falling into Grace. And so I hope you will join us after you've had some refreshments. And thank you for your attention. And I gotta make sure I don't take anybody else's papers.